But concerns are growing about AI replacing some human workers.
More than 10,000 jobs have been cut so far this year due to the rise of generative AI and
artificial intelligence will eliminate 6% of jobs within 5 years.
I will your wife. I will your son. I will your infant daughter.
So, like everyone else, I was kind of scared of AI will take my job as well. However, instead of mindlessly doom scrolling and feeling depressed, I decided to look a little into the history of automation, how we produce, how we make things cheaper, how we react to innovation, especially the job market. And I found a pattern that nobody else seems to talk about.
The finance world has brought us the ATM machine. Faster, safer, more accurate. And tellers better check the job openings.
So, back in the day, ATM was kind of a destructive product. You will think that this machine, right, this big box, will make the teller's job decrease, even gone. Nope, ATM makes the teller's job increase. You see, ATM makes it cheaper to operate a branch. Instead of needing 21 tellers per branch, now they just need 13. Less tellers mean less operational costs. Now, if you're CEO of a bank and there's just cash hanging around, what would you do? Well, you open up more branch, because more branch means more brand awareness, more customer, more profit, and more bonus for you. And that's exactly what happens. Basically, ATM make less teller needed per branch, which means less operational cost, meaning bank can expand cheaper, meaning more tellers' job. And guess what? The best part of this is not an isolated incident. Cashier jobs number were also experiencing the same thing when barcode scanners was introduced. Instead of decreasing, they increase. Same principle. Same thing with paralegals and electric discovery software. Because software made legal process easier, law firms now have more capacity to handle more cases, which means they need more paralegal. And we can go way back with this paradox. Did you know in 19th century, all weaving work became automated instead of by hand? Cotton weaving was so efficient, the price of cotton cloths falls. Yes, it became cheaper and more accessible to people. So, people use more of it. Demand surge, which means more weavers are needed. Okay, now that you learned that automation actually increases jobs, you need to learn how that it will create entirely new sector of jobs. Email, for example, the invention of word processor, like Microsoft Word for example, do lead to far fewer secretarial jobs. However, instead of creating massive increase in unemployment, this create new jobs like IT people, which are non-existent by the way in the age of typewriters and dictaphone. Back then, no one rolled into the office with a barely working laptop, overpriced coffee, and a hoodie to fix a typewriter. That job didn't exist. Maybe they could have worn hoodies in the office, I guess. I didn't fact check the 80s fashion attire. So technology, while decreasing specific roles, it creates entirely new categories of employment. So think about it. Automation didn't just create new jobs. It makes entirely new ones. Software engineer, UI UX designer, social media specialist, they probably wouldn't exist today if we stick to typewriter machine. In 1900 America, 40% of people were working in agriculture. Now, it's less than 2%. So all I'm trying to say is, job transformation happens all the time. And humans, usually we survive. I mean, we're still here, right? This paradox, where automation creates more jobs than it reduces, is actually called the Jevon paradox. So, who is this Jevon guy? Well, he's a British economist from the 19th century, and he observed a quite peculiar event. So at that time, a new technology that revolutionized human production emerged. They call it the steam engine. Now this engine is full efficient at the time. So by logic, the demand for coal would reduce, right? No, it's actually kinda increased because manufacturers, the bosses are thinking like this. Indeed, now that we possess steam power, who might be more cheaper to employ, why not endeavor to utilize it in another venture? Why not extend our enterprise into such new territory? My British accent is trash, I know. So yeah, they expand until coal was more needed than ever. Okay, but AI is different, right? It's not taking factory jobs, it's coming for white collar work. Copywriters, analysts, designers, lawyers, even therapists. It's not just automation, it's intelligent. So the fear feels personal. But as history tells us, this won't be the end. It'll be a shift. The part that AI can do, it will do. But the parts that AI cannot do, it won't. Empathy, vision, judgment, that's where us will be needed more than ever. I know, it's too early to tell, but there are signs if you care enough to look. Just the other day, I scrolled across a job posting for an AI automation specialist. And then I also saw AI content creator job posting from a company in Singapore. You can just Google it right now, it will pop up. This is not AI engineer or machine learning specialist, by the way. This is new jobs that already popped up and might be a whole new sector. Besides that, let's not forget there are still undeveloped parts of this world that need cheap intelligence. I mean, undeveloped village is not gonna hire a McKinsey consultant. AI is not the enemy of human jobs. Short term, yeah, it might reduce roles. But long term, it redefines them. And in doing so, it brings out what machine can replicate. Or humanity. Take the bank teller example. ATMs didn't wipe them out. But here's the twist. Their jobs change. Tellers no longer had to crunch number. Instead, they become relationship builders, focusing on empathy, trust, and real human connection. The ATM forced the tellers to become more human. I think what's happening is this. AI will eliminate the soulless parts of the jobs and leave behind the parts that actually require a soul. For example, WEF predict that graphic design roles will be reduced while social media strategists will increase. Why? Because social media strategists need to empathize with people. They cannot just drag around elements, slap some effect, and call it a day. They need to actually think how to get a message across. Sure, AI can create amazing photo and video, but somebody still need to think what to make. Okay, I'm going off script here. So the message is more clear. Just you and me, human and human. No AI written script. I think the main reason we're really scared of AI compared to previous automation is that we live in a liberal nihilist society. What does that mean? It means that we live in a world that designed based on the belief that everything is just atoms. It's just everything is just material out there. It's material. It's atoms, it's space dust, it's it doesn't respect the human soul, basically. So, you know, what does that mean is it's if it doesn't respect the human soul, that means AI can replace it. If your soul does not need it in the work, then AI will replace you, right? So yeah, I think that's the main reason. And if you're religious, you're still living in this a world where the dominant belief is liberal nihilist. You subconsciously or consciously will internalize it at some point in your life. This is what I think is gonna happen, right? When the repetitive tasks disappear by automation and AI, what remains is what makes us human. We're gonna lean deeper into personalization, for example, empathy, storytelling. So those tasks, you need a soul. You need to care. You can't just, you can just girl boss your way into that stuff. So yeah, I think uh, I think AI is not gonna steal our humanity or even destroy humanity. I think in the opposite will happen. I think AI will demand more of us. I think AI will demand more humanity from us. I think AI will force us to be human. And that's the title of this video. So let's take a step back and see the forest from the trees. Work under industrial revolution and under capitalism negates humanity. We became cogs in a machine. We do tasks with no soul. We don't own what we create. We feel alienated from our labor, our purpose, even ourselves. The human soul is flattened by repetitive work. And then comes the antithesis of this, right? Automation enters. AI, robotics, algorithm, the machine replace the soulless parts of the jobs. But here's the twist. We've been alienated for so long that when we're finally asked to be human again, we panic. I mean, we were told to be obedient at school. Final Task is not about creative conception or empathizing with people or designing a system. Skills that, by the way, will be needed in the AI-driven world. We're told to memorize knowledge. We're told to follow instruction and be good at it. Now, all of a sudden, they need us to be empathetic, to be intuitive, to be creative, to feel, basically. And we don't know because we were trained to be cogs in a machine. Automation doesn't destroy jobs. It removes the soul-sucking parts, forcing us to return to the core of what only humans can do. Sense emotions, imagine new futures, create with intention. Automation is not the end of humanity in work. It's the return of humanity after a long exile. Work alienates us. Automation alienates the alienation. Therefore, we are rehumanized. Now, AI will definitely make us dumber, right? We will become more dumb as we use AI. But I will explain to you in the next video that is actually has happened before in history, and it makes us stronger. So if you're interested, subscribe. Bye.